So welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for our student life and community groups at Waterloo Engineering. Tonight, thank you for joining us. So the webinar does run from 8 to 9 p.m. So please submit all questions using the Q&A button at the bottom of your screen. Not the chat button, the Q&A button. Questions will be answered throughout the webinar. We'll also be hosting a live Q&A at the end of the webinar, just to go over more of those questions with our lovely guests on the call tonight. So again, use that Q&A button if you have any questions. We'll answer it throughout the webinar and also in that live Q&A at the end. And any questions that you have after this webinar, if you didn't get them answered, please email enginfo@uwaterloo.ca. So first, I just wanted to give the territorial acknowledgement. So the University of Waterloo that acknowledges that much of our work takes place on the traditional territory of the neutral Anishinaabe and Haudenosaunee peoples. Our main campus is situated on the Haldimand Tract, which is the land granted to the Six Nations that includes 6 miles on each side of the Grand River. Our work towards reconciliation takes place across our campuses through research, learning, teaching, and community building, and is centralized within the Office of Indigenous Relations. You can visit nativeland.ca to learn more about the land that you occupy. So again, just a couple housekeeping things here. So closed caption is always available for you if that will help you out. Just look at the bottom of your screen and you can click that on. Again, please submit all your questions via the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. And again, questions will be answered throughout the webinar and also at the end for a live Q&A. So keep those questions coming. Just make sure you post them in the Q&A. And again, just email enginfo for any questions after the webinar. So just to give you a brief introduction here, Christine will introduce herself shortly after I go over a couple of slides. But my name is Kelsey. I'm the undergrad recruitment coordinator for the Faculty of Engineering. My pronouns are she, her, and I am joined by Christine McDonald, she, her marketing specialist, which again, you will hear from her shortly. I also have some lovely engineering ambassadors on the call that you will also hear from at the end when we do that live Q&A. So first, we're going to look at engineering clubs and community groups. So at Waterloo, we have so much to do and so many clubs and so many groups. There are so many ways to get involved in Waterloo engineering. So obviously you do more than study. I know it's a very hard thing that people think that all of our engineering students just study all the time and they don't have time for these extracurriculars, but I can confirm that they do have time. They also have time at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night to host this webinar with me while they are in class. So just keep that in mind. So Waterloo Engineering has a vibrant community of students who love to work and play hard. You can sing in an a cappella group. We have varsity teams. We have engineering ambassadors. Really, whatever your interest is, we probably have something for you here and you will be in good company. Just a couple highlights that we do have Canada's largest, most active student society, our engineering society. We do have a very supportive community and a big emphasis on diversity here at Waterloo. So looking at our engineering society that I had mentioned there, we do have the largest, most active engineering society. Our EngSoc is what we call them. So they exist to promote a positive undergrad experience through the representation of student opinion, as well as support of academic and professional and social needs. So some of their services include poets. So it is our engineering student lounge. We have our C&D, our coffee and donut shops, run by our EngSoc, all the money going back to them. So you can grab some cheap snacks, coffee, and treats. They do online exams. They have resume critiques. They have an endless amount of things that they are always doing. And they also run over 50 different events each term, such as semi-formal, coffee houses, off-term parties, and Eng Play, to name a few. Then looking at diversity, at Waterloo, we have a wide range of diversity groups, but even specifically within engineering, we have a handful of our diversity groups. So there are groups dedicated to fostering an inclusive, safe, and active community to support the academic and professional success of our students who are women identifying, Black, Indigenous, and/or to SLGBTQ+. So as you can see, we have a whole bunch, again, in Waterloo, we have a whole bunch of diversity groups, and even more specifically in engineering, we have a handful of them for you to join. Then looking at Waterloo Undergrad Student Association, so we call it WUSA. They are home to over 200 clubs that are dedicated to every interest and activity under the sun, ranging from hobbies, studies, charities, social movements, religions. Honestly, anything that you are interested in, we probably have a group for. We have our Control A, a club that really likes anime, UW Korean Student Association, a concert band, photography club. Again, the list goes on. Also have student-run services designed to improve the quality of campus life at Waterloo in areas that students have identified as crucial to their success. So we also rely on WUSA for that. So we have the Glow Center, MATES, International and Canadian Student Networks, Off-Campus Community, Raise Women's Center, and more. We also, of course, have numerous events going on campus. We have clubs and activity fairs for paint nights, welcome weeks, things like that. I will say that there is always something going on at Waterloo Engineering. And again, all of those clubs and interests that you have, we probably have one for you. Looking specifically at our design teams, we have over 25 design teams. They are a group of people that work together really to achieve a common design goal. So designing a solar race car, a bridge, a robot, a rocket. We have a numerous amount of them. They do compete internationally. It is just an extracurricular, but a great networking opportunity, and really just to be with similar like-minded students with the same kind of end goal. Definitely interesting and something to check out. We do have a couple different names to throw out there for you. We have our concrete toboggan team, rocketry, our Formula Electric, Formula One, steel bridge team. We have every kind of team. So definitely check that out if you are interested. A great way to get involved. Again, looks great on your resume, and you could compete internationally. All right, so that is enough from me right now. I will pass it over to Christine, and she will chat about living on campus for you guys.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Christine McDonald, and I am here from Campus Housing. We're the large housing organization on campus. But I'm going to talk to you about the residence guarantee as well that Waterloo offers. And that residence guarantee encompasses campus housing, St. Jerome's University College, Renison University College, and United University College. So what is the guarantee? It really means that as long as you apply by the deadline of June 10th, you'll be guaranteed a bed come the fall. So all you have to do once you accept your offer of admission, that comes first, you will apply for the residence guarantee. And there is a little bit of a window this year. There's 1 week between when admissions acceptance offers are due and then when you can apply. A $500 non-refundable deposit is required with that application. And if you have any questions, if you have any concerns about like accessible housing or dietary restrictions, you can always email us at housing@uwaterloo.ca, and we can figure that out, help you out with the steps required throughout the application process. So every year, Campus Housing welcomes about 5,000 first-year students. So the majority of incoming first-year students do live on campus for their first year. And that is really due to the supports that are offered within residence, the transition that we support and allow within our buildings, and the staff that are on hand to help everyone out. Within campus housing, we have traditional style residence and suite style residence. So that's a big differentiator between campus housing and the colleges are that the suite style residence buildings, and suites are like apartments that you would share with 2 to 3 other people, and there are 1 to 2 bathrooms in that apartment with a shared kitchen. Traditional style housing is like your standard dorm. So that would be a single room or a double room. So 1 bed or 2 beds in 1 room. and you'd have a shared bathroom across the hall, and then you would take all of your meals in a cafeteria that is within that residence building. A big question is roommates. So for roommate requests, yes, you can make one roommate request. And as long as you fill everything out correctly, you will be placed together. Students just need to be of the same gender and same academic stream to have a successful roommate pairing. And there are options to live on campus throughout your upper year as well. So I know that is becoming more and more of something that students and families and supporters plan for, but just know that there are options to live on campus in upper years, as well as Waterloo having one of the biggest rental markets in Canada. So no need to worry right now. So the traditional style residences, I mentioned that you take all of your meals within the residence eatery. So meal plans are mandatory. So if you live in a single room or a double room in a traditional style residence with campus housing or the colleges, you would have a mandatory meal plan. Campus housing has various meal plans to select from. So that is something that you'll do later on. It's not something that's in the first year guarantee. The suite style residences, meal plans are optional. So because you have access to a kitchen to cook all your meals, you don't have to buy a meal plan. It is something that a lot of students do. Just they might buy an optional meal plan at the lowest level just to kind of like figure out what their year is going to look like. They might have breakfast and lunch within their suite and then dinner on campus in their eatery. So with the campus housing eateries, those would be the cafeterias that are within our residence buildings, but there's also 25 restaurants on main campus where you can tap your meal plan card, which is your walk card, and that would come off your meal plan. We have our own in-house dietitian. So I did mention if there's any allergies, dietary restrictions, any dietary or food concerns, we would give you access to our dietitian as well as to food services, and they would work everything out with you before you arrive so that you feel safe and comfortable within our eateries. So a big question was with engineering, our academic stream. So engineers have 4 streams and 8 stream. The 8 stream is when you would come to study on campus for the fall term and the winter term. And then the 4 stream is when you would come to study in the fall term. You would do your co-op in the winter term, and then you would come back for the spring term. So for first year students, we will assign you to your academic stream. And that is something that the engineering faculty tells us. So that you don't have to do anything about that. They will let us know what stream you're in, and we will assign you to a residence based on your stream. You do not leave your things on within your room. You would move them out at the end of fall if you are 4 stream, and then you would move them back in for spring. If you're 8 stream, so you're coming for the fall term and the winter term, you can keep things in your room for those entire 8 months. That's it for that slide. So we do have living learning communities within campus housing and the colleges, but specifically United College has a women in engineering living learning community. So students who are interested will let us know about this within your first year residence guarantee application. There's a box, I think it's the second step, that asks you if you're interested. If you want to be a part of this living learning community, you do have to be female in the Faculty of Engineering. But what happens is you'll be placed within a residence community with other women who are within engineering. So you would live together. There would be peer leaders assigned to your living learning community from the Faculty of Engineering, and they'll come in and they'll do study sessions. They might organize, exam prep. Really, like, it ranges as to what happens, but there'll also be social events, that sort of thing. So it is really a great opportunity if you want to, and if you can live in this living learning community, and there's no additional fee. Okay, thanks everyone.
Thanks, Christine. All right. So now to introduce our lovely panelists for tonight. So these are my lovely engineering ambassadors. So these are current engineering students. So I will get everybody to turn on their cameras. And then we will kind of go into a little live Q&A. So if anybody does have any questions, please continue to post those in the Q&A and we will be happy to answer them. So I will stop sharing my screen here. Right. So let's go around and just do some introductions. If Sky, if you want to start, you can tell us your name, pronoun, year, program, and a list or a broad list of your extracurriculars or things you are involved.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm Sky. I just finished my first year in chemical engineering, so I'm doing my co-op term right now at the University of Waterloo. Yeah, I'm part of a variety of things like pretty casually. I'm in visual arts club, help do some events for them. Tea club was a really big one for me in first year. I love tea club. I was on a design team in first year. We were doing an electric like recreational vehicle. I did a lot of the local outreach in the KW region for that. Did some work for NSOC doing graphic design in my first term. And currently I'm working to get a club recognized that I was a part of last term. Now I'm the president of the Waterloo branch for a charity organization. Um, I was gonna say that's it, but it's kind of a long list. So that's yeah, that's what I'm part of.
Sweet. Elizabeth, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, I'm Elizabeth. I use she, her pronouns, and I also just finished my first year, except I'm in software engineering. So I'm also on my first co-op right now. Um, List of what I'm in, I was an engineering society director for 1A and 1B, so I was a DEI director, or I guess they use EDI. Um, and then I was also the director of the NSOC ex WUSA book club, the Reading Geese. And I was also a part of the Life Saving Club.
Sweet. Chochi.
Yeah. My name's Tochi. I also use she, her pronouns. I'm currently in my 2B term of mechatronics engineering, so I'm not on co-op on an academic term right now. I am currently autonomy lead in WARG, Waterloo Area Robotics Group. So that's another one of the design teams that we have here. I am an EDI commissioner for NSOC. So I just started doing that this term, but since first year I've been doing directorships for like graphic design, like Sky was, EDI, like Elizabeth also was, and I also did photo shoots as well. Yeah, I also do band here and there. I play flute. Um, I feel like that's it for the most part. The NSOC and design team are like my two main things right now. But I think I've tried some stuff here and there.
Awesome. Sweet. Thanks, everyone. Let's see here. See any questions coming here? Looks like there's a housing question that just came in here. Christine, did you want me to read it and for you to answer the question aloud for everyone?
Okay, what's the question?
Oh,
from Stephen.
Yes, it means it's a separate application. So let's see what the first one was here. The housing guarantee doesn't include the housing for the entire term, 3 terms, since people in EE have co-op second semester.
Okay, so if you are a 4-stream student, you'll still apply to the first year guarantee and you will be assigned to housing for your 2 academic terms. So we don't cover housing for that co-op term. That is something that you would figure out, I guess, in that winter term. If you do a co-op, that's in the Waterloo region and you want to live on campus for that winter term, you can apply to a separate application. But for your first year, it's 2 terms that we will assign you to housing. Does that sound right, Elizabeth and Tochi, based on your experience?
I'm streammate, so
Okay. Yeah.
Sweet. Perfect. Let's see here. Ambassadors, you want to talk about how you got involved in your extracurriculars? Like, do you have to apply to them? Do you have to try out for them? How do you guys get involved? Elizabeth, do you want to go first? Because you are first in front of me.
sure. So for Life Saving Club, it's really just you show up, you pay the membership fee, and you're there. It's 3 times a week at the pack pool. And it's not like you can choose like which days to go to, and like you can even have weeks where you don't show up. It's a club, it's not really a team. So I joined that because I went to the athletics like little open house club fair thing they had in September. And I was like, whoa, this is a thing. I was a lifeguard in high school. So I was like, this is like right up my alley. And I went to one of the try it sessions and I just fell in love. For the directorships, I found out about them by going to again I think it was at the uh design team open house. NSOC had a booth, and so they had like they had some directorships set aside for first year students in September. So I was like, sure, why not? I applied, I got the position, and then when they were taking applications for the winter term, which happens like halfway through the term before, I was like, yeah, I'll do it again. And that's how I ended up with the book club directorship.
Tochi, do you want
So-
or whoever.
Yeah, I could totally go. Um, yeah, I guess similar to Elizabeth, I also got into NSOC because they were at the design team fair booth, and I just applied to so many directorships that I wanted to. I don't know, it just seemed like a lot of stuff that I had done in high school or was interested in doing didn't seem like too much work to do. A lot of fun on the side, and then it just became like, oh, there's friends I'd have in NSOC or like people that I would see when I was doing stuff for my directorship or just people that would show up to the events that I would run. Yeah, and then it kind of just went uphill from there. Now I have this commissionership role, which is lots of fun. And now I feel like I know a lot of different people through NSOC that I probably wouldn't have known elsewhere just because our classes are cohorted. So you kind of just see the same couple of people all the time. So it's nice to branch out. Design team. I actually didn't join in first year. I went to the design team showcase they do every term. I don't know, it just didn't catch my eye. I was like, oh, drones are kind of cool, but I don't know if I care too much about them. So I kind of played around with different design teams that we have, right? The Kelsey had said we have like close to 30, I think 25 plus. So joined some smaller design teams that kind of didn't work out for me. Wasn't really interested in them, or there's just some other things that didn't work out. So I was talking to an upper year at an ISB event actually. Um, and he was like, you should totally join the work. It's really good, really structured. And I was like, why not? Why not? And so I recently went to competition with them like a week ago and we came back and we won. So that was really cool. So now I'm really, really involved in design team. But yeah, I think that's how I'm in the things that I'm in.
Sweet. Congrats. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think for a lot of like the general clubs, that like the non-eng clubs, for me it was the clubs fair. I think it's super fun to go to. Even just like if you're not super interested initially, just like of the thought of joining a club. Like when I started at Waterloo, I kind of like had it in my head. I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna join a club. Like it's gonna be a lot of work and engineering at Waterloo. I don't know if I'll have time. And then I started here and I was like, yeah, it's a lot of work. And the clubs fair came around. I saw they had a tea club. I was like, oh my God, I love tea. That's like immediately the kind of thing that I would love to do. Um, they had board games too. So I was like, okay, so I could go and meet people also like maybe not in engineering, which like obviously I love engineering students. I am an engineering student, but like it's nice to talk to people like outside of your department, your faculty, it gives you perspective. I will say though, like the first meeting I went to, I played, I think it was Sorry with a couple of people for like 2 hours, and I was like, "What program are you guys in?" They're like, "We're in software engineering." I was like, "Of course, we found each other." Um, but the visual arts club, also kind of from the club's fair, but I had a friend who was in global business and digital arts who was kind of an exec for them before she graduated. So, and I've always been like a big arts person, so I was like, I have to join. It'll be so much fun. Um, yeah, like I guess I didn't mention this before, but I was part of engineering ambassadors for uh 1A and 1B in my first year. Oh, what's happening there? But yeah, so that it was, I saw posters in the halls. Posters are actually very useful for conveying information for different clubs and events. But yeah, for like the co-directorship, now that I'm the president of like this club for like a charity event across Canada. That was also through engineering ambassadors. Like there's a lot of opportunities that were kind of sent out through engineering ambassadors, through Kelsey, sending things out to people like, hey, if you're interested in joining this, here's the link to apply. So for me, like that was a really big way that I kind of have expanded into other things. Kind of same with like the engineering society. Like I always knew it was there. And then like other people were like, hey, like this is really cool. Like if you're good at graphic design or something, you like art, you should do graphic design. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds fun. And it's really cool, doing stuff like that because like you put the time in and then like you see the work that you do and then it's out there. And I think that's always really fun. Even if it's not like crazy big or anything, it's always just fun to kind of have that.
Great, thanks, everyone. And just look through the questions here. There was a question about housing that Christine did answer, but I will just share for those who are watching the recording. So we did have someone ask about residence based on stream, but are you able to have a roommate with someone in another faculty? And can you still be assigned to the same suite? So you can have a roommate in another faculty as long as you are the same stream and gender. Your roommate request will be processed successfully. So just to note for that. I also do want to just put the disclaimer out there that there is no specific residence building that all of our engineering students live in. I know that is a myth that goes around. That is not a thing. So just keep that in mind when you are applying to residence. Let me see here. Let's see. Question came in. How much of a commitment are sports? Do any of you lovely people play in sports or know anyone in sports and engineering? Are they able to manage sports with engineering?
So Life Saving Club is kind of a sport-ish, in the sense that we are in the water and swimming while doing like life-saving-esque skills. So we're in the water 3 times a week, like I said. So it's manageable. Honestly, I normally go twice a week and on school nights too, on Monday and Wednesday. So it's manageable. Most sports clubs that I know of and considered joining in the fall are very flexible and like they have multiple meetings a week. So it's like, okay, if you can't make one meeting or one event, then you can go to another one. But yeah, I would say anyone who's interested, there is a website somewhere on the U Waterloo athletics page that has a list of all like the sports clubs where you can like go and like see, okay, here's a link to like the club's schedule or like their Instagram page so you can kind of like check out what they're about.
Okay.
Yeah, I also put my 2 cents in there as well. I'm not in a sports team or anything like that, but intramurals is like I feel like a lot of my friends' way of like playing sports. Like one of my friends is doing volleyball this term. A friend of mine did like basketball for intramurals. So this is, and they have like different levels as well. Like if there's like really chill, like I've never played this sport before, I'm not really competitive, I just want to have fun. There's like people who are like semi-competitive, like I'd love to put up a good tournament. but it's still for funsies, so it's not like varsity sports. There are still people in, I can name like maybe 3 or 4 people in my class who are in a varsity sport as well. And then there's people I know within NSOC, like last term's execs, 3 of them were in a varsity sport. So that means they're managing engineering society stuff like student events and student advocacy, as well as in a varsity sport and also schoolwork. So it doesn't have to be that much and that involved, but there is different levels of just doing sports in general. And I wouldn't say that there isn't any time because we're here.
Okay, sweet. With that, I was going to say, I also want to mention the engineering ambassadors, which are all of these lovelies. Engineering ambassador program is another extracurricular that you guys can get involved with, helping out with events, webinars, things like that, as these ladies have mentioned. I did want to kind of go through the 3 of you and see how your experience in first term was and from the transition to high school, and if you guys were involved in that first term. Who wants to go? Tochi, you're in front of me.
Involved in
Yeah, Elizabeth,
engineering
you could go. Pardon?
involved in engineering ambassadors or like in
Were you
general?
involved, sorry, as a whole, aside from engineering ambassador, just in your first term, were you involved in any extracurriculars in your first term? And how did that go, if you were?
So for me, I kind of picked my extracurriculars in first term and was like, okay, this is what I'm doing for the next 8 months. So obviously I was like, okay, engineering ambassador, get me that purple shirt. It's gonna be great. And I had a great time doing that, obviously. Like I said, the NSOC stuff came from the uh, design team showcase in the fall, as did the Life Saving Club.
Yeah, in my first term, yeah, design team showcase for sure definitely got me into, it wasn't in the design, like it didn't get me into the design team that I am in now, but definitely exposed me to like that kind of things. A lot of people do start from first year. I kind of just was here and there, popped in, and it was really nice because the team that I was on was very chill with, and even all the other teams are like, usually we all are in schools, we kind of get that like getting used to being on your own, on like doing all these courses and all that kind of stuff. It's like you won't always be there all the time, and it's not, they're not going to hunt you down if you don't show up for 2 weeks. So that was really nice to learn, I guess, in first year. I joined band from the get-go. I was in band in high school, so I played flute. Not the greatest at it, but I like enjoy it. So I was like, yeah, let's continue. Let's do that. I don't know, and I think the clubs and societies fair that Sky also mentioned, it's nice for some clubs meet like, okay, every Friday we do this. And then you could pull up on the Fridays that you're free or something like that. Or some clubs are like every once in a while we'll do an event. So then you can, it for me it helps to plan around. I'm really into K-pop. K-pop club will do like every once in a while we'll do an event. So then they'll drop the date, I'll plan my schedule around it, and then I can like show up. And it's really nice interacting with other people, just to know their other experiences as well. So I was really into that in first year. And then like, I don't know, I just tried whatever, man. I did archery in 1B. I haven't done it since, but I would totally do it again. Like I just did. Oh, I'm thinking about it. Yeah, I just did whatever. But there was the time and space for that, I guess is the end goal.
Yeah, like for me, I found that like again, like I came into Waterloo being like, I don't really want to join anything at all, because I'm scared I'm not gonna have time. I did find that like the clubs that had like a weekly kind of like event, and usually it's like only 2 or 3 hours they run it for like the whole time. But you don't have to be there the whole time. Like I would go to Tea Club. I think they did it like 6 to 8. I'd be there usually for like an hour or so, sometimes an hour and a half. I almost never was there for the whole 2 hours, especially when I was busy. But honestly, like having a forced break, like with my schoolwork, like walking there, being outside for like 15 minutes, and then going there, talking to other people about not chemical engineering, playing board games. That was really fun. And like honestly, I really do feel like I did better in school because I had those forced breaks. I'm not always the best at like making sure that I have time to relax, especially like in the evenings, like the weekday evenings. Um, so honestly, like in that sense, having that time was really, really nice. And it was really chill. Yeah, the visual arts club, we had like events every once in a while, like workshops also. Like I didn't usually go to like the weekly meetings, but like the workshops I'd go to. Like my friend who used to run it, she did like a line work workshop last term. So I was like, well, I'm definitely showing up for that. Like, because like one, she's my friend, and two, like her line art's amazing. I want to learn more about how she does it. Um, I think it's definitely like important to not overload yourself with too many crazy things. But at the same time, like Tochi said, like if you do and you're like, whoa, that's way too much, I have way too much work to do. People like it's not personal. People don't like not that they don't like entirely care, like, like they care about other people. It's just like they're not going to be upset about it if you're not able to commit like you thought you could. Because I think it really is like a huge step up, like being even like busy in high school versus being busy in like Waterloo engineering. It's just like a very different kind of busy. It takes some getting used to. I do think that like also kind of like joining communities kind of like helps you figure out a lot about like how you can organize your time. And yeah, like for me now, like I'm doing my work term at Waterloo, so like I'm here and I'm also like really excited to join clubs I couldn't like I didn't have time to join during the school semesters. Like yeah, archery club is like one of those ones that I really want to join. 'Cause yeah, they have like different levels. They have like beginner, like super casual, they have like intermediate and like advanced where it's like very intense. So you can like pick your commitment level and that's really nice also. My sister's at TMU. She wants me to join the fencing one, so she's like, so we can go up and like fight each other in competition. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know if that's my thing, but yeah, like I think like the transition definitely is like helped by having a community of people. And yeah, like people outside of engineering too. Like it's fun to talk to people in like astrophysics, like to hear what they're doing. Sometimes when I talk to the maths kids, I'm like, I love engineering. I love being where I am.
Thanks. Thanks. Um, Christine, that housing question came in. Do you want to just answer it live for everyone? So they were asking, have they set up a date for resident selection? This person had submitted housing application and paid the fee.
Yeah, so when students apply to live with campus housing, we send out the campus housing preference form mid-June. And that is where you will tell us where you'd like to live. So you're going to rank your preferred residence buildings. You're going to tell us if you have a roommate request, what sort of meal plan you like, and we're also going to ask you behavioral questions so that if we do pair you with a roommate or should you be with in a suite with suite mates, you have like similarities and similar morning routines and evening routines and study routines. So that comes out mid-June.
Great, thank you. There's another question here that I did answer, but someone, just so everyone knows, someone was asking, will there be different engineering majors in an overlapping course, or all the classes taken with your cohort? So as Elizabeth said here, your lectures, labs, and tutorials will be with your cohort, but other engineering cohorts may also be taking the course, so you may have a bit of it there. Let's see here. Has anybody started their own club or know how to start their own club out of my ambassadors here?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm in the process of doing right now. So yeah, so it is like an involved process with like a capital I, capital P. But yeah, so like I said, just like kind of briefly touched on, I'm part of like the Waterloo branch of like a charity, like nonprofit that pretty much like is like a mentorship program, pairing like university mentors, focusing on like rural and like low income minority communities, pairing them with like university mentors with high school students in those areas. Just because, there wasn't in those communities always like a lot of information about how to apply to university, like what universities are like. So that started at McGill. And then I applied to be an exec last term. So this term we're working on getting official club recognition, which comes with funding, better kind of like advertising. So yeah, it's an involved process. You have to make like a constitution. They give you like a lot of documents though to like they make it very easy to fill out. It's just, you know, you have to think about a lot of things a lot. You have to make some appointments with the club manager, which I have one coming up, I think, sometime in the next couple weeks to talk to her about it. You have to have like a statement, a purpose statement, kind of mission statement thing. Like, you know, what is your club? It's also mainly to see like make sure there's not two of the same kind of club that exist. Yeah, like, honestly, like it's not very hard. It's just kind of like a long process. You just have to think about a lot of things. You do have to make sure also that you have enough interest in your club on your end kind of before you apply. I think you need around 15 members or so already before you can be officially recognized. Um, so yeah, you know, you need to figure out like your election cycles, like how often you're going to elect executives, how long they stay for, um, you know, what exact roles you have, what they do. So I mean, like it's a lot for one person, but usually you don't just have one person doing it. You know, you have like a group of people, which helps. But yeah, like they're very, very nice. I was worried, I was terrified that they were going to be like really critical of my constitution. I'm like, if they're are they gonna like, you know, be upset about the way I worded things? No, they're not crazy or anything like that. They're very, very nice. They're very helpful. Yeah, and, you know, if you have an idea for a club and you want to go through, you know, the process of making a new one, I think it's pretty easy and they walk you through it a lot, you know, they give you a lot of support.
Oh, I could also, I don't know, I didn't start a club, but one of my friends did. He started a sign language clubs. Apparently that didn't exist. Didn't know that. It was really cool. But yeah, similar process to what Sky was saying. But it was doable and like I think he called me about this crazy idea beginning of winter term, and I think they had meetings by just before midterms. So they do walk you through that process quite well. You just gaining experience or interest beforehand is definitely helpful. I think you need a certain amount anyways to indicate that you want to start the club. Um, initially, but then yeah, they provide you with a lot of support, and then kind of when you get the ball rolling, then all the rest of the stuff starts becoming more relevant. But overall, it was lots of fun. We had a good attendance. So it's something that you could totally do.
Okay. One more question here. I just want to announce for everyone. Someone had asked, is there a place to park and charge e-bikes indoor, in residence and or in student life center? So residents, you can just email housing@uwaterloo.ca. But Tochi confirmed that there is student life center. Usually have, oh, hold on one second. Is that what you had said there, Tochi? Is there an e-bike charge? Sorry, yes, in the student life center there. Sorry, mix that one up. Somebody asked a question about checking out design teams and clubs at U Waterloo Day this weekend. So all of our design, the design teams, you will see the design team area. There may be some students working in there. And we will have reps from a bunch of different of our diversity student groups. So we will have Women in Engineering, NESB, ACES, and ENGIqueers there. We will also have a bunch of lovely staff, faculty, ambassadors who are a part of teams and clubs and things like that. So you can definitely chat with them when you are here on Saturday for those who are joining. For those who are not aware, our U at Waterloo Day is this Saturday from 10 to 2. Definitely come and check that out. There will be a lot going on. So be sure to register for that so you can see us on Saturday. Let's see here. All right, we're almost at the end here. I wanted to see, what is your favorite extracurricular club, society, whichever role that the three of you are in. Elizabeth, do you want to go first?
I think, I mean, okay. I absolutely love all the extracurriculars I do. I need to say that before I go and pick a favorite. However, and this is not just because not just because you're here, Kelsey. I do really love being an engineering ambassador. Um, when I came to the open house in grade 12 and even at like the university fair th that same year, I was like, okay, this is like the people running this are like who I want to be when I grow up, you know? Like they know exactly what they're doing. We don't, but no one does. But it was just so in line with what I enjoy doing. Like even in high school, I was like helping with grade 9 day and stuff like that. So it was just so in line with what I do. And I was just like, okay, that like when I'm an engineering ambassador, I will have made it. And I guess I've made it.
You've made it, Elizabeth. Toshi, what's your favorite?
Hey, not only did she like said that, I like kind of deep in. Like, I do like my engineering ambassador work just because I particularly like doing shadow days a lot. I think I've had three of my shadow day students come up to me like being in my program and like, oh, I picked this program because my shadow day. I'm like, that's really cool. But besides that, if I were to choose one other than engineering ambassadors, um, yeah, it's kind of hard. It's like comparing an apple to an orange, I feel, because I like my design team work. I feel like I get to talk to a lot of different people from different programs. We all kind of just live there sometimes, to be honest. And then you just learn so much at a rate at which I feel like you can't learn in courses because it's super hands-on. You get to just do so much stuff. Plus, you get to travel if your team is a like competitive team. But I also like my like more interest related ones. Like I really love K-pop, so I can't lie. Like I go to K-pop club being really excited because I can just start up a conversation with someone who knows the exact same things as me. So I think I really like that there's just niche sort of clubs that like they just understand your lingo. I think that's what's really nice about the clubs that we have at the university. Yeah.
I think for like engineering ones, like yeah, definitely engineering ambassadors has been really fun. I think just like through like the wide variety of people that I've met through it, the different events that I've done, have just been really fun. It's like it sounds kind of like cheesy, but it's like a full circle moment. I'm like, last year I went to Waterloo Day and I was like getting ready to like see what engineering was going to be like at Waterloo and I was so excited. And then now I'm here and now I'm doing things for you at Waterloo Day. Like it's really cool. And like doing the shadow days is really fun. Um, I love talking about chemical engineering. So, it's like a guaranteed excuse for me to be allowed to talk about all the different things that, we do in the program. Um, yeah, and just like I think like doing things like this also is just really fun. I love signing up for things. My friends sometimes like they get upset with me because they're like, "Oh yeah, like are you free on this day?" I'm like, "No, I signed up for a thing on that day." And they're like, "You're always signing up for things." Um, but yeah, like it's really fun. Like, you just do like so many different things. And yeah, like in like the non-engineering side, for me, definitely Tea Club was really fun. I met a lot of really cool people through that, played board games. And like I hadn't played board games in so long before that point. I tried so many different kinds of tea. Um, it was just a lot of fun, like really relaxing. Definitely like made me feel more like part of like the Waterloo community. Yeah, I don't know. It was just really good.
Thanks, thanks, everyone. All right. So there's one last question here. Do any of you guys use the gym? Is there a gym that you have access to? How the hours of the gym? Skies.
Yes. Our gym is so nice actually. I went for the first time earlier this year, like in January, because I wanted to start running. It's so nice. I've been to like different university gyms before, different like public gyms. I think it's so nice. Our treadmills, like I thought this was revolutionary, but like some other people were like, yeah, that's like very common. Other places have this. I didn't know, but like our treadmills have fans on them that like blow cool air in your face as you're running. I'm like, wow, this is a game changer for me. Maybe I'm just easily impressed. I don't know. The hours do like differ, but they pretty much are like I've been there early in the morning, I've been there late at night. They change sometimes like between the semesters. Like I know like we were doing like we had like some renovations to certain parts of them. So certain parts were like reduced hours, some certain parts were kind of closed, I think, between like mid-April and start of May. Um I don't know the exact hours, but they have pretty good availability. They have like different parts. Yeah, there's like cardio, like you got your Stairmasters and your lineups of treadmills, and then you got like your weightlifting stuff more on like the main floor. That's just one part of it. And then we have apparently like four whatever you call them. Kelsey, what were those like r tiny rooms with the tiny little doors? What sport was that?
Oh, the squash courts?
Wash
Yes.
courts, yes. Apparently we have like four of those too. Which I didn't know about until recently. We have a pool as well. We have like a wall, like a rock climbing wall as well. Which like I haven't been to yet, but like I always want to because it looks really fun. I do usually do like more bouldering than like the whole climbing up because I get kind of scared of heights. Yeah, we have a pool, we have a big like main gym where people play basketball and volleyball all the time. They do like tournaments there as well. Um, yeah, we have like a bunch of different sections of the gym. I don't even think again I've been to all of them yet. Um, but yeah, like I walk in there sometimes, I'm like, this is where all the money's going. It's very nice. I like it a lot.
There are
In
also
terms
gyms
of
in residence
hours,
too.
oh, go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, there's also gyms in residence. So I know St. Jerome's has one, and then we have a big one in Rev, and then one at CMH. So you'll have access to that too.
I was just gonna say, in terms of the hours for the physical activities complex, the pack, life saving ends at like 9:30, and it's still pretty alive when I leave. So like, pretty, I guess that's pretty late. I don't know. But then there's also the Columbia Ice Field too, which is like across the street. I don't know how much, like I know we have the ice rink there. There's like more basketball and volleyball courts. I think there's a soccer, like a turf room there too. Um, but yeah, I think you have to like book those out though. So but yeah, there's a lot of sports stuff, guys.
Yeah, we have like an equestrian team as well. I'm like, where are the horses? Like, I don't even, I haven't even like explored this whole campus clearly because I have no idea where like you would do those activities. But yeah, there's like a million different places.
Okay. There's a couple other questions just came in here before we wrap up. Christine, I've heard a lot of campus housing doesn't have AC in their room. Is it true? And is it the same for SJU?
Campus housing doesn't have AC in our older buildings. The colleges do have AC. So that is something to think about. Do you have access to the CMH gym even if you're not living at CMH? If you live within campus housing, you have access to all the campus housing buildings. So say you live at UWP in a suite, you could go and use the gym at CMH and you'd be able to access it with your walk card because it is key access. So that's something.
Regarding the AC, I would just like to say if you're stream 4, this doesn't fully apply because then you're living on campus in the summer. But if you're there for fall and winter, it really like you don't need the AC. You just need the heating. And the heating works perfectly.
Perfect. All right. We will wrap up here. So I will go around and everyone give their last words of wisdom to our admitted students, or tips and tricks, or last kind of thoughts. Christine, do you want to start?
Yeah, I hope everyone is considering residence for their first year. I really feel like that's where like life and the experience happens when in your first year, and you do like that's where like friendships begin and develop. So really, I hope you don't miss out on it. Don't miss the deadline, June 10th. Yeah.
Elizabeth?
Oh, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
All of our residence buildings are going to be open at Waterloo Day. So if you are coming, I know that most people come to tour residence on that day. So get a map and like check off like which buildings you want to see. And like, yeah, all of them will be open for tours.
I would say just try new things. Be open to having new experiences. You don't necessarily have to go back to what you did in high school. You could, continue it if you want, obviously, but you could also just try something that's completely new that you never would have tried before. And hopefully you'll have a lot of fun. And if you don't, at least you tried, right?
Tochi?
Feel like these are all snappable moments. I feel so poetic. Yeah, I'd also say something similar. Like you're here for what, 4 academic years, so that's like 8 terms. You can always try a different thing every term. Like just because you did this one sport one time doesn't mean you need to try it again. Or maybe you like this thing and you'll keep doing it until you graduate. I feel like you could take that first year, kind of figure out what you have the bandwidth for, or what you kind of like and don't like. But just know it's not over. If you feel like you're in like 2B and then you're like, I don't have the time, I don't do, can I still try new things? You probably still can, because you still have half of your degree left. So I don't know. There's lots of opportunities to do a lot of different things here. And I think you can just have fun with what you can do outside of classes.
All right, Sky, final words of wisdom. Or fun things.
Yeah, I think don't have like extracurriculars be something that like you stress about. I have seen a lot of people kind of like ask me or ask other people, what should I join? Like what club should I join? Like to put on my resume to get good co-ops, and like there will be plenty of opportunities for things to put on your resume for co-op. But I mean, at least like in my experience personally, like I've never had such opportunity to join so many different kinds of clubs. Like Tochi was saying, like there's so much available to you. And like after you're done here, you may not have the resources to go and like join an equestrian team or join a fencing team. But here you can, and it's like low barrier of entry, relatively speaking, and like very accessible to people for the most part. And just like figure out, who you are as a person outside of school. It's a very, very important skill to have. And you never know. There are, sometimes cases where people get jobs because of connections that they make through sports and extracurriculars. So yeah, I don't know, just have fun and worry about school when it's appropriate.
All right. Well, that is time. So thank you. I just want to say thank you to all of our lovely people who have joined us tonight. And thank you to Elizabeth, Tochi, Sky, and Christine for joining us and sharing everything, answering all the questions. Again, if anybody has any questions, you can email enginfo@uwaterloo.ca. You can email housing. We will get all of your questions answered. So again, thank you again for joining us. I hope to see you guys here at Waterloo Day on Saturday. If not, hopefully see you here in the fall. So have a great night, everyone.